Okay, here we are again. Let's take a couple of deep breaths and say the healer's prayer. I invite you to say this along with me. I'm here to be truly helpful. I am here to represent him who sent me. I do not need to worry about what to say or what to do. Because he who sent me will direct me. I'm content to be wherever he wishes, knowing he goes there with me. I will be healed as I let him teach me to heal. The more I say that, the more powerful it gets. The more I say that, I say it from my heart. So beautiful. So, we're here unwinding the stories. We're waking up in the dream. We're learning to identify with the decision maker instead of the ego. And we're watching the shit show go down. We're not fixing it. There's nothing to fix. Nothing has gone wrong. What a mind fuck that is. Yeah. I'm really challenged with that, not doing anything. I have a very strong I know mind, and I have a very strong fixer attitude. My dream character identifies as a transformation artist. I've been on an amazing transformation journey. That's the struggle. We're just watching. Forgiveness is still and quietly does nothing. It merely looks and waits and judges not. Hi, Marcy. And I don't know about anybody else, but this is a huge struggle for me. Merely looks and waits and judges not. I'm looking, still quite judgy. It's insane. This ego thought system is totally insane. And that's a judgment. It's uncomfortable, it's wrong, it's bad. I don't like it. Those are all judgments. But at least I'm seeing it. So this is the beginning. I can see it. It's totally insane. And I don't want to play anymore. I'm determined to see this differently. Holy Spirit only asks for a little bit of willingness. So I have all these notes all over the place, constantly reminding me, it's that simple. It's just that simple. My ego makes it so fucking complicated. My ego is so complicated. It's that simple. Just don't touch it. It's not easy. It's the opposite of easy, but it is that simple. Just don't touch it. Just look at it. Ask Holy Spirit to look at it with you. And it's in that looking, some teachers call it welcoming, that it's all undone. Such a mind fuck. I listen to a lot of Course in Miracles teachers. And I love the clarity when I'm listening to them. I have so much clarity. And so I'm constantly plugged in. And that's a big reason why I started this group. A lot of these things are once a week. I'm blessed to have one that's almost every 3 days. It's 3 times a week. That's not enough. I need to do this every day. I need to be doing this constantly. I have these notes everywhere because my ego keeps sucking me back in. We can't do this alone. Thank fucking God for mighty companions. Who else has anything to say? Marcy, meet Christine. Christine, meet Marcy.
Hi, Christine.
Hi. Well, I don't want to share this, but I don't even know what it is. I followed some instructions that I got today from Calico, and which is I really like the metaphor of the hairball. I've got this hairball stuck in my throat, and it feels like it's the size of like a grapefruit or something, you know. And I had to shift gears a little bit, just a little bit, from show me I'm wrong and help me see this differently. I mean, those are always there. I'm using them every day. They're always there. But I have to add to it. There's something here for me to see, something uncomfortable. There's a belief waiting to be exposed just past the hairball. And I need help to cough it up and spit it out. So it's like, Holy Spirit, show me this belief, that's in there. So I've been sitting with that all afternoon and really watching my mind go where and how it goes crazy. And today, like, and the degree to which I make it real, like I take it so seriously. And I know in those moments it's not working. I can feel it in the moment. Okay, thinking this way is it's not, it's just painful. It's just really painful. So, and then I feel this truth swoop in. That's how it happens for me. My mind will go crazy. The ego will take control, whether it's for 8 seconds or 3 minutes or whatever. Right with it all the time. Like the gap between the ego and truth coming together is like so small for me now, and it swoops in. It actually feels like it swoops, like whoosh, and and I feel it right away. And it's like it's today. It was all about, oh my God, just this beautiful experience of, oh God, I don't even like it actually is okay. All the details of how things look right now in your life with everybody around you and everything going on around you, it's exactly like this is spirit talking. It's exactly how I want them for you. They have to be this way. This is exactly what you need. And I know why you need it. You don't even need to know why you need it, but you do. So in particular for me right now, it's Andrew drinking. I have a friend who's fallen off the wagon again. And I have, wow, big reactions when that is happening. So the practice with remembering how every single component is perfect. And then the experience of it. Oh my God, when I remember to let myself experience it, the anxiety melts, the doubt thoughts melt, it just melts. Everything that feels like shit about it just melts. The fear. And I just had this moment. It was only for a moment, but I was like, wow, oh my God, that is available all the time. That is available all the time. So, and it's where am I trusting? Where am I placing my trust? Where am I placing my faith? Because it's somewhere. Where is it? You know, sometimes it's with money, medication, other people. It's with all kinds of things. It only needs to go in one place. And the degree to which I'm not trusting is equal to how miserable I am, how much I'm suffering. And and I have had enough back pocket experience. I call them back pocket experiences, um, to know that something else is available all the time. And I've had a number of mystical experiences where the whole world just disappears and I disappear. And it is so amazing. It is so amazing. So I feel like I know what it's like to really remember the experience of allowing what is available to me all the time. Ah, yeah. Thank you.
That's beautiful, Christine. Thank you. These tiny glimpses, once we start getting them, that becomes the fuel. I find I was on this bucking bronco for since June and started getting these little glimpses, these holy instances of peace. And we were talking about this a couple of days ago. Isn't it amazing that you can watch? I feel like my whole life, everything's falling apart. All of this unconscious guilt is coming up. And it feels like everything is falling apart. And I'm getting these glimpses where I can just watch this fucking shit show and go, there's nothing to fix here. It's so peaceful. Where I am, up above the battleground, up in the cinema, up out of it, watching it. To have these experiences are priceless. You can hear people talking about them till the cows come home. It doesn't mean anything. But once you start having them, you start off as little glimpses. And then we get the ego backlash. In the beginning, I didn't understand what was going on. I would have these moments of elation, oh, I get it. And then bam, I would get hit with a tsunami. What the fuck is going on? Ego backlash. So that's a good sign too. Doesn't feel like it, but it is. The development of trust. Who are you trusting? I saw a Kenneth Wapnick video about that. It wasn't about trust though, it was about faith, I think. No doubt. It's doubt. We can't be fully in doubt. We're always trusting something, but what are we trusting? Doubt is like the opposite of trust. So if I'm in self-doubt, what am I putting my faith in? That's not me. We always have this choice. Put our trust in the ego or the Holy Spirit. The script is just plain. No matter what we do, it just plays. And again, it sounds so simple. And the reality of it is a fucking bronco. We were joking last week that nobody gave us riding lessons. And here we are on this fucking bronco. But actually, we have this whole book, this big blue book. It's
Mm.
like a writing lesson, isn't it? We have all this help. How are you doing today, Mercy?
Here. My ego did not want me here today at all. And like exactly when the Zoom call was supposed to start, I just got hit with a huge bombshell. And it involves people that I really can't talk about. So I'm just enjoying listening. Where am I placing my trust? It's really, really good. And I like the analogy of the hairball, needing to cough up a hairball. I like that. So yeah, I think I have a hairball in my throat right now.
Can I share a moment? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Um, so when Living Miracles was doing their Sunday, I think it was their Sunday services, and I don't know if you guys know anybody from Living Miracles, but Francis and Lisa used to host it, right? And the first time I really heard it, the faith, the faith talk, like really heard it with my heart. Lisa, Lisa was so clear. She was like, yeah, it's always somewhere. It's placed somewhere all the time. So ask yourself, where is it? Where are you putting it? And it just something happened to me when I heard her say that. Like I wasn't listening with my ears, right? I was listening from somewhere else, and I saw in that moment I saw where all the places my faith goes. And it's like the places where I felt fear, my faith was in that place where it had no business being. Like I have money fear. Well, I have faith in money to give me peace of mind. Peace of mind doesn't come from a bank account. There's a strong belief in there, that a certain amount would feel pretty good, but it doesn't offer what I think it offers. So wherever I've noticed pain, fear, I've placed something there that has no business there. Yeah. And then I hear, you know, David's been in my head with this reminder of God first. It has to be God first. It's not it's not food first and then God. because I will place food as pretty important. You know, like I have fear of feeling hunger because there's emotions beyond the hunger. So I will eat to avoid feeling hungry. And I know that spirit asks me, no, don't eat anything. Oh, but that's going to be really uncomfortable. You know, like, so I will place food above God because I'm trying to avoid this there's an emotional discomfort there. And that's just one thing. Money, food, like there's so many things that I place above God, and each time it's actually painful. And hearing David with that clear reminder, God has to come first. Comes before my mother, comes before my father, comes before breakfast, comes before a shower. Like I shouldn't be consulting myself for anything. Nothing. Not what to wear, not what to eat, not when to bathe, nothing. The only thing I can offer is willingness. Like that is humbling. Like to put myself aside that consistently. No, get out of the way. Get out of the way. No, shut up. Get out of the way. You know, but that's what I feel like I'm being asked to do, actually. God has to come first. So I get to be shown where God doesn't come first. I guess I have to see that first. I have to be willing to see where God doesn't come first. Yeah.
I love how this is such an individualized plan. It's a perfect, the perfect storm for each of us, the perfect roadmap to awakening. It is humbling to get out of the way. We were joking the other day about clueless, carefree, and cared for. That comes from David Hoffmeister's Divine Providence video. Just get out of the way and be totally clueless, carefree, cared for. Ego freak the fuck out. Yeah. And that's why I love the healer's prayer. I say it multiple times a day. Anytime I interact with somebody, if I can think of it, I say it. I have this other prayer where I ask Holy Spirit to be in charge. I say, I let go of trying to control and fix this life. I ask you to come into my heart. You be in charge. You show me the way. And that's that offering up that little willingness. Constantly offering up the willingness. Please help me. Show me the way. Show me how to see this differently. Again, it all sounds so simple. So easy to say, so easy to talk about it. This is probably why people get stuck in studying this course for years and years and years before they realize they're not doing fuck all. They're not practicing it. It's in the practicing of the wisdom. It's not what you know. It's what you do with what you know. David does a couple of videos of the development of trust, and he says 4 out of the 6 are dark. Like straight up. This isn't easy work. It's dark. Gotta face the shadow. The outcome of that, like all this messy work we're doing, is so worth it. We get these little glimpses of like peace amongst the chaos, glimpses of profound love, profound peace. When I come to these groups, I feel that peace. When I listen to David Hoffmeister, I see the clarity, I feel the peace. Kenneth Wapnick, I've been obsessed with Kenneth Wapnick videos lately. It sounds so simple and I feel the peace. And then I go back into the chaos, watching it, merely looking and waiting and judging not. Rinse and repeat.
I fight so much with my I know mind, you know. You're saying like give everything Holy Spirit. What I wear, what I eat, what vitamins I take, what I mean, and last night I had all these thoughts in my head, you know, what should I do about this? What should I do about that? And it was like, all you have to do is just give this to me. Just loosen your fingers a little bit, you know, stop clutching. And I got to watch in my head what happened. Well, you don't know. Wait. No, ooh, no, that's too fast. I don't want to move that fast. Ooh. And I'm like, oh my God. Wow, there's that wiggly worm trying to wiggle out of it, you know? Like, so there's something to be said about trust, being able to really trust that. And you think it'd be easy. All I need to do is look around and look at what I've created and say, has this ever made you happy? Ever? So, what do you know that God doesn't? Wow. What an arrogance. I mean, what an absolute, I know arrogance. The arrogance is just shocking. It's just, it, I really got to see it in my head, you know, just fighting with just allowing, just allowing, allowing, you know? So the fighting and the struggle is so familiar. And I know how to do that. One of the many things I know. Yeah. And being peaceful feels unfamiliar. It feels so good, but it's almost like when I get that peace, my immediate thought is, oh God, I'm going to lose this. Yeah. I didn't even realize that that was going on, you know, and now I can see it. And I'm honestly, a thought came to me. How about if we look at mercy with forgiveness? How about if we let that go? How's that? Forgive this character who thought she was this person and did these crazy things, and forgiveness is my only function. Can I extend that to myself? I seem to have an easier time extending it to others. I've had a lot of past relationships. I have some ex-husbands coming into the scene, so that's what hit me before the phone call. So I'm a little bit, and it's like, you know, I've been feeling really good about being able to forgive these people and see them as Christ. But when it comes to me, mm-mm. And it's one. So that unforgiveness is unforgiveness for everyone. So who am I fooling? I'm not fooling God. I actually started my forgiveness journey before I started reading the Course in Miracles. I had a feeling one night a couple years ago, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to forgive. I didn't know what forgiveness was. I didn't know how to do it. I knew I was taught forgiveness to destroy. So when I went into my forgiveness journey, I thought that I'd be offering that, you know, and this forgiveness is so beautiful. But can I extend it completely, including to look at that with Holy Spirit?
One of the things that got flipped upside down for me with A Course in Miracles is forgiveness. Spent 8 years with the Tao Grandmaster. He teaches forgiveness to destroy, as I believe most traditions do teach forgiveness to destroy. What a change it was to learn true forgiveness. There's a lot of holy egos out there, thinking they're so special because they can forgive their brother. I used to be one of them. What an amazing thing to be so just flipped upside down, right side up. Forgiveness is still and quietly does nothing. It merely looks and waits and judges not. And our only job is to forgive. That's all we need to do here. There's an internal war going on inside of me when I say things like that. Yes, but. How can you say that? It's just
What about
like,
this
so,
person? What about
yeah, yeah. What about this? What about that? How can you say that about this?
your ex-husbands? What the hell?
Yeah.
What the
After all they did?
anybody but them. And now it's both at once. I'm like, woo!
Of course it's both at once. It's the perfect
Yeah,
storm.
that's an answer to the prayer of your heart. There must have been a prayer in your heart, and then the perfect scenarios show up to provide the backdrop for the healing, right? Like I'm listening to you talk about ex-husbands. I'm 48 years old. I've never been married. I don't even, I barely have relationship experience, like barely. It's like I've had this life of singleness. And so I feel I could be full of shit, but I feel like my frame of reference for really understanding people when they talk about marriage and relationships is just like it feels this big, like and then I remember years ago someone saying to me, yeah, this really shifted a lot of things for me. This was humbling. um like the men who come and go, men, in this reference I'm using men as in relationships, right? um the men that come and go don't matter because the relationship is with Christ. So when you really start to remember that and integrate that, the people are just going to come and go. And it'll be fluid and it'll feel fluid because you're going to remember it's about this, not this, right? Okay. But I had to take that in and apply it without having any of the experience, so almost kind of backwards, I guess. But like I don't feel like I have a frame of reference for, what you guys are talking about. My frame of reference really is like my relationship with Andrew. We're just whatever we need to be. And I'm talking about this and I want to have a cough attack. There's resistance to talking about this. It is whatever it needs to be at any given moment. And the boundaries and the rules and the expectations are just like so minuscule. When they pop up, we see it, and it gets, I don't know, I don't know, I don't even know how to talk about it because it doesn't fit within the paradigm of how the world would describe any relationship I've ever heard of or seen people have. That's my frame of reference for a relationship with a man, really. Wow, the coughing. There's something going on there.
Sounds beautiful.
I feel like it was a lot of work to say that. I feel tired now.
When I left my last husband, as I was leaving, um, he he looked like Christ to me, and I was leaving in fear for my life. And I looked back, and he looked like Christ. So that's how I see him. And something happened, and I can't put it into words, but I realized that um, my first husband and my second husband were the same. It's a different form, but for me, it was the same lesson coming up again. So I've had, yes, it was a prayer in my heart to forgive. And as soon as I had that prayer, my first husband came floating into my awareness. You know, after many, many years, just here I am. And I was so grateful. I was like, oh, wow, I can, you know, ask for forgiveness, say, hey, I was a shithead. And, you know, I'm not waiting for him to forgive me, of course. I mean, if he does, that's fine. If he doesn't, that's fine too. But just to have that opportunity when I'm in form, seemingly, to express that to this person that I haven't had any communication with for so many years, I thought, wow, what a gift, you know? And it appears as though somehow the first one and the second one are now in communication. So I'm sure they're comparing notes on what a shithead I am. And that highly offends my ego. Like, what? But you know what? Just like you guys said at the beginning of the call, forgiveness sits and quietly does nothing. There's nothing to do and there's nothing to fix. And this is an opportunity for me. It doesn't feel like it, you know, I feel like I'm going to have a panic attack, but my mind sees it as an absolute blessing where I can get really humble. And I can also really look at what my ego thought system has created. This has been my whole life, you know, one marriage and then another marriage, and, you know, the span of about 30 years altogether. And that's a lot of it's a lot of opportunity, really. And I'm getting like a 2-for-1 deal. So yeah, it's kind of cool, you know. Forgive one, get one free. So yeah, it's a blessing. They're me. That's me. You know, I'm working on, yeah. And just because you don't have a piece of paper and that doesn't mean that you don't understand marriage. There's really not a lot to understand. It's just a formal document. The relationship we have with people has nothing to do with it. I have a feeling that I'm actually going to have a better relationship now that I'm not married and now that I'm able to ask for forgiveness and forgive myself. Maybe that's what this whole thing was about. It took me 30 years to get to the point to see what the world told me was going to work. I grew up, you get married. I grew up in a very old-fashioned kind of belief system. And if you're a woman, your future is to get married and to have children and to, you know, be a good wife and have a nice house and raise your kids good and blah, 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 blah. And in my experience, for me, that didn't bring the happiness that I was told that it would bring. And now I see that I was barking up the wrong tree the whole time. So it's really nothing. So you're not missing out on anything.
Bunch of forgiveness opportunities.
Yeah.
I had to work pretty hard to let go of thinking I was missing out on something. Because, you know, there's something in the mind that thinks something out there will provide something, you know? And it took me a long time to realize, no, no, and like really remember it. And it lives here now. You know what I mean? It really does. It does live here. But it's funny because I remember being 19 and I did not come from a family that you just described. My parents were together, but they weren't married. My mom was pregnant at 18. Like, you know, like I did not come from, I was raised by teenagers because everybody, my mom was the oldest and she had all these brothers and sisters. I was raised by teenagers. And when I was 19, I did one of these. I was like, whoa, 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 wait, 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 wait. And then I just saw myself on this life conveyor belt of like house, kids, blah, 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 blah. I don't even know I was on the conveyor belt. And I just hit the panic stop button and I hopped off and I started asking myself questions. Do I want a white picket fence? Do I want to have kids? Do I want to get, I just started asking the questions. And it was, I didn't have an answer for any of them. Even at that age, I didn't have an answer for any of them. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess, I mean, I didn't know it at the time, but it was just a great, big, giant, long pause on what everybody else says you're supposed to do. You know, there's just something about it that was not, and I didn't, like I said, I didn't come from a traditional family. So, but I also didn't fit in with my family because I started questioning things. And I did not come from a family that talked about anything. They didn't even know they weren't talking about anything. You know, I was really innocent, but I did not fit in because I started to question things, you know. So,
Well, I think you're very smart. I didn't want to get married either time. And if you rewind my first wedding video, before I got to where people could see me, I was coming down the aisle and they started videotaping me. And I go, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And it's on my video, it's on my wedding tape. 23, 24 years later, I was out of that marriage. So, yeah, I didn't want, I never did want to get married. I didn't really see the point in it. It didn't make a lot of sense to me. And I knew I wasn't going to have children. So I just did it because that's what I was supposed to do. And now
wow.
I'm less interested in what I'm supposed to do. And I'm more interested in what I'm led to do. And what I recognize is that Spirit was speaking to me back then, but I wasn't open to it. I I didn't feel that was, it didn't feel right. But I just pushed it down and ignored it and went, I got to make myself into this box so that I can, you know, fit in. Yeah. But I'm listening now, you know, I'm listening. I think I was more on a journey outward before, and now I'm more on a journey inward. Like I've flipped. So it feels right for me. I wish I had had the wisdom to pause and to say, is this what I want? Is this right for me? You know, I see a lot of wisdom in that.
You know that first time where you just feel like the first time in your life where you just feel so defeated. The only place you have left to turn is God. And you don't even know that you're doing it, maybe. Like, you just really made me think about that moment for me when I was 22 and I had just moved to Edmonton. And I remember sitting on the couch and I don't know what was going on, but I just remember giving up. And I remember like throwing my arms out and just looking up and just pleading to God. And I didn't come from a religious family. The fear of God, people had fear of God, but nobody went to church. And I did go to Catholic school of my own choice. Did not like the experience. I had to work through a lot of shit to get over that. But yeah, this God moment. And after that, all these funny little things started showing up. It was like something opened, like the first opening that I was aware of, the tiniest bit of awareness, so small, it just opened up and it looked like eye contact with people in a way that I hadn't experienced before. And a reflection right away of openness, of receptivity. And books started showing up, those kinds of things. There was a palpable shift, like the door opened and it stayed open. But I don't know. I'm not even sure what reminded me of that, but it's so significant because I hear David in my head too. Oh, you give up? Great. Give up. Fucking give up. You have to give up. It's the continuing to hold on to something in form for dear life because it's familiar and safe, that toxic safe place that we choose, and yeah, it's all just flying out of my mouth. But yeah, I didn't know what was happening back then, but I knew I was meeting the right people. I was in the right place and I was meeting the right people because everything just started boom, 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 opening up. And the people who eventually introduced me to the course, I actually met them when I was 21, when I was just landed here. And they're still in my life today, like all these years later. And that's how they had Deepak Chopra in their house and Eckhart Tolle and whoever was the guru at the time, like that's quite a few years ago now, but it's just like one step, the next step, spirit, go to the library, look at this book. I would be at the library and then I knew I didn't know it at the time, but spirit was like literally walk down this aisle, stop here, look here, grab this book, so specific. So specific. So it was a lot of books, other books, like Conversations with God. It was like all these other books before the course. And then when I was 30, the course came. But it was all through the same people. All through the same people.
I had my first little high school boyfriend. His parents, I had left home. I was 14, and they put a roof over my head, and they actually bought me my course book, and I still have it. So I didn't read it, of course, you know. I just put it off to the side and got married. I climbed in my box. And it was really fucking uncomfortable
My God.
because, you know, that's not where I belong. That's not it. And when I finally decided, maybe I got to the same moment that you did, where you throw your arms up in the air and just, I was just like, I didn't know anything about anything. Something in me was like, forgive. It was so powerful. I had no knowledge of anything. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to forgive, or I'm going to die trying to forgive. I decided that night. And went out in the shed sometime later and dug out my Course in Miracles book that I'd had since I was 14 years old. And I think I was 51 or 52, something like that. So a couple years ago. And yeah, that moment where you just go, Jesus, this is not working. This isn't, there has to be something more. I know there's something more. This just doesn't feel real. It's not satisfying. I'm hungry for something, you know? And my high school boyfriend, he ended up committing suicide. And I found out, um, I was just pulled out my course book and I started reading it. And I looked, and his father wrote a book about the course. It's like a little teeny pamphlet. It's very simple, and it's just for people that are curious and they just want to get a taste of it. And I looked at the author, I'm like, oh my God, that's, you know, I know him. So we email back and forth now. So we're in contact. So I understand that, you know, connection, your teachers in the dream. And I love them. I absolutely love
I feel like I'm being shown something right now in this moment. I think I need to put something on the table with you guys and see what you have to share about it. I think I have to bring my the healing that seems to happen through men for me. I think I need to put it on a table with you guys in particular in this moment. And I want to share, I have to, like, Spirit pointed something out to me so clearly when I was living in Mexico. I was woken up. I had guidance the night before. Get your phone and learn how to use the recording function so you can record your voice. And I was like, what? Why would I need to do that? Whatever, don't question it, just do it, right? And so I did. And then the next morning at like 5 a.m, Spirit woke me up and I had a download. And I was like, speak into your phone, record this download. And it was profound. Um, so I have an issue with men. There's definitely a belief that I have an issue with men. Men aren't safe. And here's why. So wow, that one fits in there too. Holy shit. Okay, this actually a new bing that just happened. Okay, I'm just going to go chronological here. So when I was in Mexico, something happened to show me from literally from one moment to the next that I was sexually abused as a child by my uncle. It came in like that, and I was like, holy shit. And then I dropped right into forgiveness, full experience of forgiveness. It was amazing. I haven't stayed there with it. But okay, so there's that experience from a man. When I was 7 years old, I was slowly backed over by a car and then forward by a man driver. That's the one that popped in that I didn't even realize was also a man. Right. So that accident was slow motion and beautifully choreographed. I would never change anything about that accident. However, there have been ripple effects that I didn't see that I again got revealed to me in Mexico. Now, when I was 17, my friends started to die, all guys. So within the span of like, oh wow, it's a lot shorter on the timeline than I was remembering. From 17 to 19, 6 guys slash men died in my life. And it so let's fast forward to Mexico about 4 years ago, and this download happens. And the gist of it was one, I never pieced together that everybody, all those deaths were all men. I did not piece that together. And then, so that was revealed to me. That was made clear. And then it was like Jesus speaking. It's like Christ speaking to me. You don't trust men. And yet you think of me as a man. So how can you trust me? And it just ripped everything apart. Everything got ripped apart in my mind. And absolutely true, all of it. The impact, the everything, and I know I still carry some of this with me because I know I'll have these thoughts where I'm like, but men dot 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 dot, but men dot 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 dot, and it's not very often, but it's there, and it comes with this like, I don't know what, I just know that it's a false belief, and it's applied to men. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if you have anything that you feel sparked to share about it, or maybe
Oh,
nothing.
yeah. No, I have like a huge resistance to Jesus or, yeah, a male. Yeah, yes. And I think that past abuse, um, I have a lot of um, issues with men. So I think it's really interesting that you said that because I identify Christ as a man and he's not a man. Mm, need to really look at that. That's very, very interesting. Mm,
Yeah, he was basically pointing out to me, this is how you push me away.
mm,
This is how you push me away. These are your beliefs about what you think happened throughout your life. You think of them as things that have happened. And then you use them to push me away. Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm. That's profound. It's one of those things that, like, you got to sit with for a while.
Mm, yeah. Very, very, very helpful. Very helpful for me. Very helpful. Yeah, for this character. Yeah.
Yeah, there are definitely things that I hang on to from the past, right? And um yeah, again, I can hear David. It's like um the only fact is God. That's it. That's the only real fact. So the things that you thought happened throughout your life, the circumstances and all those things, none of those are facts, right? Mm.
That's going to take me a really long time to. Ooh, that's a lot. Thank you so much. Thank you. Brought a lot of stuff into my awareness. Thank
Yeah, I've had quite a few experiences now around listening about what to say. And when I started coughing much earlier in the video, that's what I was asking myself. Do I need to say anything? Do I need to share? What do I need to share? What do I need? And I started like choking and I inhaled my cough drop. It went down whole, and I was, what the fuck? Like I haven't been coughing like this all day, like, and so it's like, okay, there's stuff that's gonna get shared. I don't know what it is, but oh my God, I've had so many beautiful experiences around, yeah, say this. Remember
you.
that whatever you're sharing is not actually personal. I'm
Mhm.
asking you to share it because it's for the sonship, it's for the whole. It's not actually personal. It's just your function in this moment. So say this, say it like this. So, and then of course, if I don't listen, somebody asked me that once. They asked me, how is it that you can express the way that you do? Like you will just say whatever is going on. You just say it. You're like a walking expression session. How do you do that? And I really paused because I felt like, okay, a deep question is being asked here, and there's something for me to see in it. And then I heard myself say, because if I don't, I feel like I'm being crucified. So the fear of sharing becomes far less than the experience of holding back, the pain of holding back.
Mm.
And I was just like, wow. Like, when spirit gives you words and it's not you talking, that's like one of those moments. It's like, wow, like, okay, it's crucifixion. If I don't lean into what I'm being asked to do, it's crucifixion. That's pretty clear. Christ or crucifixion. Yeah.
I experienced that this morning when I shared this group in Calico's group. She said, does anybody have any burning desires? And I was like burning up inside. Something was stirring. And I finally shared it. And yeah, and I shared, like, I had been wanting to say that for 3 weeks, at least 3 weeks. And it's like, yeah, it feels like a crucifixion. And today I couldn't stand it anymore. When she said, does anybody have a burning desire? Something else hit the unmute button. And then it was like, okay, you're saying it. Like something takes over. Yeah, that's a beautiful analogy. It's like a crucifixion if you don't say it. There's a phrase like that in change, like when the pain of change outweighs the pain of staying the same, you will make a move. Put that backwards. When the pain of staying the same outweighs the pain of change. But yeah, it's the same thing. How many of us sit in that uncomfortable needing to say something and refusing to say it, needing to share something and refusing to share it. Big reason why I started
We
these
practice a lot.
groups. Hmm?
Yeah, that's why you started the group, right?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I needed the opportunity to express all of this fucking chaos that's going on.
Yeah, Spirit had me working on that consistently for some time. And part of it was recognizing the holdback. And for me, it started when Living Miracles went live for the first time, that the very, very first live group that they did. It was back in 2017. I remember it because I was there, and it was during my whole transition. My whole life just got flipped upside down, right? So I was still in Edmonton and I joined their first live. And that's when I made that first connection with, oh, that feeling in my gut is spirit saying talk, 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 talk. And so that was the practice. I just started practicing over and over and watching the discomfort. And then with Living Miracles, watching myself not expressed for fear, and then the one mind experience would happen in the group, and somebody else would say exactly what I needed to say. And I was like, wow, it was like Christ on display, like the truth on display, you know? And then how it looked was I got to a place where this took a long time for me to accept because I got attached to the role, the identity of being the expressor. And then I was told by spirit, okay, this is going to change now because there isn't really much of anything else you have left to express. And I had a lot of resistance to that because I was so attached to how it feels after there's an expression. Like it's so releasing. But there was another plan for me. It was time to shift out of it, and there was another plan. But I recommend it for everybody for sure.
I get guided to shut my mouth. Sometimes I'm talkative, and sometimes spirit's just like, you have something to hear, like tonight. So thank you.
Mm. Whew. Yeah, Jody, when you shared in the Calico meeting at the very end that you had this Zoom thing that you were doing, I really was like, oh, there it is, because I felt that nudge I was telling you about. I felt this nudge towards you a couple weeks ago. And I just waited it out a little bit, And I'm kind of chuckling because when you spoke about it at the end, it was almost like a drive-by expression. Like it happened so fast. I couldn't even take in what you were saying, but I knew I had to lean towards it, you know? So I was like, I gotta contact her because I know she said all the information, but I it just went whoosh. So I'm just really glad was you were able to express it, and then me, oh, I made the connection. Oh, okay, I have to go here, you know? Yeah. Mm.
I have so much fear around that self-expression, mostly around getting it wrong, doing something wrong, stepping on people's toes. Uh, yeah, so it's funny that you say it came across as a drive-by expression session because it was. It was like a quickly get it out of you, and then hope nobody hears. Hope nobody hears. Perfect. Yeah, I had quite the bit of a, I guess you could call it ego backlash on my way to work after that whole thing went down. It's like, oh fuck, what have you started now? What have you
Because
done?
you shared this group with the other group and then you had ego backlash for, oh, really? Because this group's very, very helpful. Yeah, my ego fights me all the time not to be here. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I set alarms. So for all of Calico's, and I had to change how I did this because oh wow, it's like spiritual amnesia, right? It's like I had an alarm set for 1:45, right? But then I go out and do something, and my alarm would go off, and I'm like, "Oh, fuck!" And I only have 15 minutes. So I was like, "Okay, this is ego bullshit. Like this is just this amnesia that takes over, you know." So I set my alarm. I mean, I have an alarm going off every half hour for the lesson of the day. So now I have alarms going off before Calico's at 11. No, wait, time is it for me? 10:35 in the morning. So I get it 25 minutes before. So my mind can shift. And I can't tell you how many times my mind is elsewhere. I didn't even know today was Tuesday. And the alarm goes off and I'm like, what the fuck? It's Tuesday? It's 10:35? What happened? You know, and like the ego just takes over in such subtle, sneaky ways. That's just bullshit. So, yeah, so for yours tonight, the first thing I did when you sent me the link and I had everything I needed was set my alarm. And when it went off, I was like, oh, it's like, go. And it was like, no, you go. And then the mind, like the ego is like, no, you can wait a little bit. You still have 15 minutes. But I had never logged in to and with you before, right? So and Zoom is a fickle creature for me. It looks different all the time. And I'm like, no, I'm going to go upstairs, turn on the computer, get in there and get in there, commit. I have to commit. Yeah. I'm really happy. Like, it's so funny how it all unfolded. It really is. But I mean, I could have said something to you 3 weeks ago. Coulda, shoulda, woulda, right? Because I felt the nudge towards you. I did, and I didn't acknowledge this part. No, I didn't acknowledge that. Yeah.
Now the ego is sneaky as fuck. I listen to a lot of Keith Kavanaugh, and he calls it the ego Jedi mind trick. We forget. That's it. Amnesia. We just forget. It's so fucking sneaky. Yeah. So sneaky.
Whew.
I'm gonna have a lot of thinking to do, which is a good thing. That's good. Yeah, I have some meat to chew on. Except I'm vegan, so I have something to chew on.
Sometimes I call it percolating.
Percolating, I like that.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Percolating.
Yes, yes. I hear people saying, "Oh, my brother Jesus," and like they have this relationship, and I'm comfortable with like spirit or something, but um, I need to look at where my stories about being a woman and my stories about apparent men that have mistreated me are blocking me from my relationship with the Christ. How I'm using that as a, you know, because it has nothing to do with, you know, not even me being a woman, because I'm not. I mean, you know, that's incredibly helpful. I think that's the block for for me. And it's not real. Mm. So as I have this opportunity, these forgiveness opportunities with um, these men from my past, it's actually an opportunity to remove some of the blocks that I'm holding up to feeling close to Christ. Take away the man woman dynamic and just have it be really what it is, just spirit and oneness. Nothing to do with sexuality or what body you're born into or anything like that. Mm. So I'm letting illusions block me from my experience. Wow. Sneaky little ego. Mm. Nice. No wonder he didn't want me coming here tonight. He. I did that on purpose. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Hmm. Wow. Mm.
Yeah, in this moment, it really blows my mind. Like, I don't understand this. It's so much confusion there. Like, with the mystical experiences that I have had, resistance to sharing this again. God damn. Yeah, with the mystical experiences that I have had, and I still have doubt thoughts and I still forget? What the fuck? I mean, what the fuck? I had like words like, you're afraid of death? I'm going to show you that it's nothing. And then, boom, I was gone. And I was just in the truth, just bliss, just joy, just love, totally beyond this world. And I've had more than one of those types of experiences. How is there room for doubt thought? How is there room? I mean, I could understand, like, before I had any of these experiences, sure, I get it. But since, that floors me. It's ridiculous. It feels ridiculous.
It is totally ridiculous and completely insane. I can totally relate to that. I've had so many, like I spent 8 years with a Tao Grandmaster and experienced what we call their miracle after miracle after miracle with my transformation. And still there's doubt. Like how can you have doubt? Well, because I keep forgetting all of these experiences that I've had. In those moments of doubt, it's because I'm forgetting. One of my teachers was Tony Robbins, and he talks about how the mind distorts, deletes, and generalizes. That's what it does. So we forget these momentary forgetfulnesses, just how powerful we are. We are the Christ. We are God only has one Son. And you are it. We forget. It's totally insane. And it's all happening for us. And I keep seeing it as like, this is all happening for me so that I can see it, so that I can wake up. Wake up.
Yeah, right. Because it's like, I'm being asked to play my part. So I have just lean into my part. This is good stuff, you guys.
I'm so glad that we recorded this. I totally forgot to record it last night. We had such amazing conversations, and then I forgot to record it. I'm so grateful that this is recorded. There is so much. I rewatch these over. Sometimes I rewatch them over and over again. Other times I just need to watch it one more time. When we step aside and allow Spirit to move through us, magic happens. Amazing things come true. And it's perfect. This is exactly what I needed right now. So thank you for showing up.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Jody.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's my pleasure. Yeah. It's been an hour and a half. Do we have anything else to say?
I think I'm good for today.
I feel
This
pretty
was really
complete.
nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a lot to percolate or something. Percolate.
Yeah, a lot to process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I feel like some kind of breakthrough coming. So yeah.
Thank you guys.
Beautiful. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Love you.
You guys have a good night.